What is up, people of the internet? It's me, MtG here, back with another Magic the Gathering video, and today's going to be really simple, nice and easy video. I'm going to open my pre-ordered packs on MtG Arena for WarSpark and kind of talk about some of the cards we see there and talk about what this set is going to look like and what my channel is going to look like moving forward with this new set. Before I get into that, let me tell you, if you haven't used the code PlayWarSpark, use that to go and get your packs. I'm going to go do that right now, show you how. You type in PlayWarSpark, and that should redeem a code for you to unlock 3 free packs, so make sure you go and get that before trying to build decks with not enough packs. So I currently have 53 WarSpark packs, 3 that I just got, and 50 of the pre-ordered packs, so let's open them 10 at a time. Alright, let's just speed this up just a little bit, and we will just be seeing the rares here. Oh yes, first of all, I must say that I love this set so much. It's really freaking cool. Ilharg the Razeboar is one of my favorite cards right now. There's just so much interesting tech you can do with this. When it attacks, you play a card, you put a creature onto the field attacking from your hand, and then you're going to put that creature back in your hand. So this is kind of one of those Mirror March type decks where you want creatures that have an enter the battlefield ability, because you're going to be entering the battlefield with them multiple times. Usually if we're attacking with Ilharg the Razeboar multiple times, we're probably just going to win the game. So he's really, really great. Again, Spark Double. Spark Double is a lovely card. You copy anything. You can copy a Planeswalker or a creature, and if it's a creature, it enters with an additional +1/+1 counter, and if it's a Planeswalker, it comes with an additional loyalty counter. This card is so good, and you can copy legendary things too. This is one of the few loopholes around the legendary rule where you can just make a copy of Nicol Bolas, the Dragon God, or Teferi, Hero of Dominaria, things like that. We've got 2 Nissa Who Shakes the World. She's a really, really interesting Planeswalker and allows a lot of land stuff, some land play you can do, turn all your lands into creatures and destroy your opponent. We already had that a little bit with, what is it, Vivid Revival? No, not Vivid Revival. Maybe it is Vivid Revival. It was something like that. It was like a 3-mana sorcery that turned your lands into creatures for 1 turn, and then you could attack with them. And this just does that, but it's not only for 1 turn, and you can buff things up, and you produce more mana when you're tapping forests. So this is really great, especially with Hydras in the format where you can cast creatures for X mana cost. Really awesome. Commence the end game. Kind of cool card. This kind of belongs into a Grixis control deck, stuff like that, in the late game where you're just going to womp your opponent and produce a little zombie. Single combat is a card I'm kind of disappointed with. For the same cost as Cleansing Nova, you're really not getting a whole lot out of this. I guess you can. If your opponent has a much more, wider board state than you, this is a good card because it wipes their board but leaves 1 thing for them and leaves 1 thing for you. So I guess it can be useful in certain situations, but I don't really see this being too strong. I like our red Planeswalkers we've got here. Sarkhan the Masterless is really nice. Chandra, I'm not 100% sure about yet. I think there's probably a way to kind of proliferate her, and then if you get her to her -7, she's going to deal -7 or deal 7 damage to the opponent, so that's pretty cool. Ajani the Greathearted is interesting. Yeah, he's pretty good for a Celestia kind of tokeny deck, small creatures where you're going wide and you want your creature to have vigilance, stuff like that. Solar Blaze is another weird one that I'm not sure is going to be real great. There's interesting stuff you can do with this, and True Fire, whatchamacallit, the Boros creature that deals damage to the opponent whenever it gets damage dealt to it, so you can do cool stuff with this. But I'm not convinced this is going to be great because it's not a consistent board wipe, because you're going to be missing a lot of creatures that have bigger toughness than their damage. But let's open up another one, see what we got. We're probably going to have some duplicates here, but that is just fine. I'm also getting a lot of wild cards with this. I accidentally opened just 1, so we'll see what this. Hey, it's a wild card, sweet. And we got Tybalt's Rager and Bond of Discipline. I like Bond of Discipline a lot, especially in Limited. I think this is kind of a good win con. It's basically like Cosmotronic Wave, but for white, because it taps all your creature or opponent's creatures, so they can't attack or can't block, I mean, and then you get lifelink on your creature, so you can kind of sweep in and in the late game and a limited game, so that's kind of nice. So let's open 10. I accidentally just opened 1 that time. But as I was saying, you get a lot of wild cards by opening all these packs, so I'm going to be having a lot more wild cards to build with, which is lovely. Oh, Sorin, Vengeful Bloodlord is one of my favorite Planeswalkers in this set. I love vampires, first of all. I like doing Mardu Aristocrats, if you've been watching my channel. That's a video I did a couple days ago that went really well, and I love Mardu Aristocrats, and he belongs in there. He also belongs in, like, any kind of life gain decks because he gives all of your creatures lifelink, and so you can do a lot of cool stuff with that, so he's really nice. And he is recursion. He can bring back creatures from your graveyard. Ral, Storm Conduit, can do an infinite damage combo in this set if you get the right cards. It's like Narset's Reversal plus not Invert Invent, it's the other one, Expansion Explosion, and maybe like some other card like a Shock or something like that. Anyway, you can do like infinite combos with him with those cards, so this is pretty sweet. I think there's something cool to be done with these these vehicles, especially Mizium Tank. This is really nice for like a slightly different take on mono red, because this gets really big and has trample, and you don't even really have to crew it if you don't want to, because it becomes an artifact creature when you cast a non-creature spell. So Mizium Tank is nice for mono red. A little bit scary, actually, mono red becoming with Mizium Tank and Dreadhorde Arcanist out there now, so that's a little bit scary. Silent Submersible, I'm not as convinced by. I don't know. I feel like this is a weird card for mono blue tempo, and I'm just not sure about it. I feel like mono blue tempo was already doing this with the cards it had, and this is just a way to be a little more card efficient in mono blue, but still you're having to crew this, and it's not unblockable or anything like that, so I'm not convinced that this card is very good. Krenko, there's some cool stuff to do with Krenko, making tons of goblins, and, we've got Siege Gang Commander, which can sack goblins to deal damage, so that's nice. Ujin, I am working currently on a colorless deck that I think is going to be sick. I don't exactly know how it's going to work yet, but I think there's some cool stuff to do with colorless spells right now with Ujin and Ujin's Conjurant and all the Karns that we have, so fun stuff to be done. Bolas's Citadel, another one, a kind of weird card. There's this series of colored artifacts, which we don't see very often, but we've got colored artifacts, like these bad boys, the vehicles are colored artifacts. We've got Vivian's Arcbow and Bolas's Citadel, which is an interesting win con. I kind of like it. I'm not exactly sure this is going to be super competitive, but there is a deck to be built around this. It's going to happen. Also, as I was saying about land stuff, so a lot of land play in this set with Nissa, and Living Twister just helps that. Living Twister is very cool, and you can return tapped lands back into your hand and then play them to trigger like Evolution Sage and stuff like that. So there's some fun stuff to be done with Living Twister. I'm excited to see what we can do with that. Let's open some Mo. Yeah. Oh, give me those, yes, Mythic Wildcards, please, yes. Finale of Devastation is pretty dang good. I'm not convinced this is really going to find a place in Standard. I think this has a place in, like EDH or Commander or Modern even, but I'm not sure about Standard. It's just a little bit too big, I think, for green, because you really want to be casting it for 10. And if you have Nissa on the field, you can definitely do that because you're going to be producing more forests. I'm just not convinced this is going to be better than simply playing big old creatures from your hand rather than, searching your library to do it. It's almost like a better version of Vivian's Invocation, something like that. And we've got the gods. The gods are back. We've got God Eternal Oketra here, which is pretty nice. I think this is a very good god. I'm not exactly sure what deck this belongs in. It's a little bit too big for mono white unless you're doing like a big mono white thing or something like that. But it is very nice. I think this is more of an Orzhov card, maybe Orzhov Gods or Orzhov freaking Zombies or something like that. Not exactly sure where this belongs yet, but it's there. It's here. And we've got a lot to talk about with the gods. Ignite the Beacon, searches for Planeswalkers. It's okay. I don't think this is going to see much play. Enter the God Eternals. Speaking of gods, yes, this is what I was getting to. Enter the God Eternals is a great card. If you watched one of my videos the other day, at the time I didn't quite understand how this card works. I thought my opponent was going to kill me by dealing 4 damage to me, but it turns out it's 4 damage to target creature, and then you gain life. So, that does limit this card a tiny bit, but really still it's good because it's removal. It gives you life and leaves a 4/4 zombie army behind. Or it just stacks up another zombie that you have, like a zombie army that you already have. So this is really awesome for any really Amass deck, like Grixis Amass, Dimir Amass, really anything like that. I bet you could do Esper potentially. I'd like to see somebody try that. Maybe I'll have to try it. Tomic is a cool one. This, I'm currently building a deck around mono white flyers, and Tomic has a nice place in there. Tomic is great. He protects lands, and he prevents different like pile decks, like Muldrotha the Pile. He kind of shuts those down if he's on the field. So he's kind of cool. He really only belongs in a mono white deck, but you could probably find a home for him somewhere else if you wanted to like sideboard him for against those Sultai decks or something where they're going to be putting lands in their graveyard and bringing them out. Yeah, let's see what else we got. Commence the endgame. We already talked about that. Mobilized District. We have some really cool rare lands in this set. We've got Mobilized District and Karn's whatever. I don't remember the name of it. But I like these. There's some cool stuff to be done with these. And especially since colorless decks might really be a thing, these colorless lands become a little more powerful. So a little more easier to play, I mean. So that's nice. And we got Neheb, Dreadhorde Champion. He's not great. I mean, we already have Ilharg the Razebore. I mean, he's good. He's fine. For how cool he looks and how cool he is in concept, I would like to see something a little more powerful, maybe. A 5/4 for 4 with Trample is actually, I mean, it's obviously good, but the ability I'm not super impressed by. If you disagree with my interpretations of any of these, or like my forecasts or analysis of anything, let me know in the comments what you guys think about this stuff as we continue on in the video. You can live comment me, so to speak, as the video goes on. Oh, more gods. Okay, my favorite is God Eternal Bontu. He can do so much sweet sacrificing stuff, especially with Mayhem Devil. I think that's what it's called. The creature that deals damage to the opponent whenever you sacrifice a permanent. You can sacrifice all of your permanents with God Eternal Bontu. All of your lands, all of your creatures, and just wipe the opponent in one turn with this bad boy. So this is pretty fun. Pretty fun stuff to do with the God Eternal Bontu. Solar Blaze again, yeah. Soul Diviner, I think, has a place in those zombie decks because you can remove a counter in order to draw cards. You can make sure you keep those those zombie army decks going, moving, and like picking up cards. So this has a place in there, though it's a little bit slow for the ability you get. Though a 2/3 for 2 is not terrible either. I mean, that's decent. And he's a wizard, so there's fun stuff to be done with his creature types, I think. So we'll see how that goes. Bioessence Hydra is a limited god. If you can get Bioessence Hydra with a couple Planeswalkers, which is pretty easy to do in Sealed at least, maybe, I mean, probably also in Draft, but I had a lot of success with Bioessence Hydra. Super fun card. Cool things you can do with that. Because he can get huge really easily. And he's got Trample, built-in Trample, so that's nice. And then the Elder Spell. The spell that Nicobolus is trying to steal all those Planeswalker Sparks with. You destroy any number of target Planeswalkers, then choose a Planeswalker you control. Put 2 loyalty counters on it for each Planeswalker you destroy this way. This card is amazing. I mean, the main problem with it is that it costs 2 black, and it's a sorcery. If you could do this at instant speed, it would be absolutely broken. So this is easy to counter, but it's really, really powerful in any like Bolas control deck. And this is probably a sideboard option for any kind of control deck or mid-rangey deck too. If you go up against something with a lot of Planeswalkers in it, you're gonna want the Elder Spell to put in the deck so you can make sure you remove those, because you can kill all the Planeswalkers if you want. All of your opponent's Planeswalkers can be destroyed with the Elder Spell. It's really wonderful. Vivian's Arcbow is kind of cool. I'm not convinced it's amazing, but I think it has a place in some certain kind of green decks where you're able to discard like a land card if you're flooding out and search your library for another creature and just put it straight onto the battlefield. So that's really nice. I'm not exactly sure how much play this is going to see, but it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool card. Again, I like the colored artifacts theme we have going here. Some cool stuff to be done. All right, we got a set of 10 more, and then we got 2 solos after that. Let's see what we got. More Nissa. Oh, the Wolf Boy. Tolsimir, Friend to Wolves. I thought about maybe there could be like a wolf's tribal thing, because you've got Arlen, the uncommon Planeswalker that gives wolves +1/+1 counter. But there's just not enough wolves or werewolves in this set right now to really make it work. The Tolsimir is still pretty strong in a Selesnya deck, because when a wolf enters the battlefield, you gain 3 life and that creature fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. So it's powerful. It's a powerful combo when you play wolves when Tolsimir's on the field. I just don't know if there's enough ways to produce wolves in Standard right now. That's all I'll say about that. If you think that you have an idea for how to do this, let me know in the comments below. We have Teferi Time Raveler. This is a control god. A 3 mana Planeswalker that comes in at 4 and can immediately shut down your opponent's instance game. Unbelievable. This card is so good. If your opponent is playing like Vraska's Contempt and they don't counter this, they can't immediately kill it. They have to wait till their own turn, and they have to kill it on their turn. This card is awesome. I love him. I love Teferi Time Raveler. Jace, Wielder of Mysteries. There's some really cool self-milling tech going on right now in Bant and Simic with Jace and Tamiyo, which we have not seen yet. I'm disappointed we have not seen a Tamiyo yet. But there's some cool stuff to be done there with self-milling and blue-green and like fog, whatever, Simic Turbo Fog. So cool stuff. It's cool stuff there. Karn, the Great Creator. Artifacts deck, colorless deck. I like Karn. He's good. I'm not convinced there's like that an artifacts or colorless deck is gonna be actually competitive. It would be really fun to play and could potentially have some powerful combos, but I'm not sure it's actually going to be competitive in Standard. We will see. Parhelion 2. A card that looks like it could be really strong. Whenever Parhelion 2 attacks, create 2 4/4 white angel creature tokens with flying and vigilance that are attacking, and it has flying, first strike, and vigilance. But it has crew 4. It's hard to crew, and it costs 8 mana, which is kind of ridiculous in my opinion. It's a bit too expensive for what it does. I mean, if you can get this rolling, if you can get this on the board and attacking, you're probably going to win the game. Yeah. You get so much value out of this when it actually attacks, but there's other options in the 8 slot for 2 white mana, like Zetalpa Primal Dawn is so good. Is that what it's called? Zetalpa. Anyway, that big old dinosaur with indestructible and whatnot is I think a better option if you're gonna put something in that 8 slot in white. It's probably gonna be that rather than this, because this is so vulnerable. It just, as soon as you turn it into a creature, this can get killed by a murder or a Vraska's Contempt or something like that, and it gets hit by artifact destruction, which is kind of a bummer. I don't think this is real powerful, but it's cool. It's a cool card. Again, what I like about this set is that there's a lot of really cool mechanics to be played around with, even though some of the cards may not be super powerful, and I wish some cards were more powerful, but even then, there's a lot of really fun decks to build with this stuff. So I'm over the moon. I'm over the moon with my excitement. I'm ready to get after it. God Eternal Ronus. God Eternal Ronus is super strong. When he enters the battlefield, double the power of each other creature you control until end of turn. Those creatures gain vigilance until end of turn. If you play this from your hand with an Ilharg the Razeboar, it's just bonkers. It's absolutely ridiculous. I love the gods. I'm ready to make a gods deck. It's gonna happen. We don't have anything super cool here. Let's check the next and last War of the Spark pack, and it better be a good one. Neoform. Before I actually flip that rare, this is some of the coolest art, I think. If you look real closely, I can't right now, but if you look real closely at this art, it's really detailed and really nice to look at. I don't remember the website address, where it's just like the art of Magic the Gathering, and they have like these big, nice pictures of it. Very cool if you go look at that. And Domri Anarch of Bolas. I built a deck around him during the early access event, and it didn't really work out. I think I was not really understanding where his power comes from, because I'm obsessed right now with all the passives that these Planeswalkers have. I think they're great. I think it's a cool mechanic. But what Domri has that's really nice is removal. His -2 makes target creature you control fight another target creature you don't control. That is really good. It's removal that you can keep on doing over and over again pretty easily if you buff him up just a little bit. And all the while he's on the field, he's giving your creatures +1/+0. My only complaint is that he's kind of filling the 3 slot where you're going to have like Rhythm of the Wild or something that I think is better in terms of getting your creatures powered up and attacking immediately. So this does slow down those Gruul decks a little bit, which I find slightly frustrating. And it doesn't ramp you as well as the other Domri does. I prefer the other Domri, but I think there's a cool deck waiting to be done with both of them, and make your green and red creatures. They're gonna be big boys, big boys. I tried a Jund build of this with Judith the Scourge Diva because she also gives creatures +1/+0. It didn't work out super well. That video is on my channel, and I'm going to link to some of my War of the Spark early access videos below. And so if you have any interest and you haven't seen those, feel free to check them out. No pressure at all. And that is all the packs that I have right now. Again, if you didn't do it earlier, go ahead and redeem that code and be checking in on my channel for more videos. They will be coming soon. I know this video is a little bit late for this kind of video. All of the pack openings and kind of War of the Spark previews have been done already. So I did want to do this because this is kind of for my sake, for looking at all these cards, looking through them, and just kind of getting my initial opinions and seeing. I'm really excited to see how this set plays out and what kind of rises to the top in terms of power and standard. So I think that's really all I have to do today. If you enjoyed this video, drop a like on it, and if you're new to the channel, I welcome you. Feel free to subscribe to make sure you're seeing more content, and if you would like to see my videos when they're posted, hit that notification bell so you know when I do that. And I think that's all, folks. Get on out of here and return to your normal lives. Bye.